Hey guys, it's Riley, Director of Training with ConcealedCarry.com, and this is the 21-day challenge baseline drill. The idea with the 21-day challenge is it's good if you can get a sense of where you are before you begin the challenge, and then to be able to come back at the end of the 21 days and measure again and see what kind of improvement that there's been because of all the work you put in during the 21 days. Now, you don't have to do a specific drill here. You don't have to do what I'm going to talk about here primarily today. The idea is that you should do something that you can do consistently, repeatedly, a couple of times, again, at least at the beginning and at the end of the challenge, so that you can see, did I improve or not? So you can take any number of standardized drills and maybe run those yourselves. You could run some things in dry fire and just try to get a good sense of time. You could use an application like the laser app, the laser activated shot reporter application, and measure things in dry fire using their app. You could also use things from like Mantis to do something similar as well, so that you can see if there's some kind of improvement from day 1 to day 21. But what I've designed for the 21-day challenge is this baseline test, or this baseline drill. It's pretty simple. It uses this pre-made target that I've designed specifically for it with 4 target areas. We have a 3 by 5 inch target here, that's number 1, a 3 by 5 inch target here, number 2, which is just the same target as target 1 but flipped horizontally. And then we've got target 3, which is 3 by 3 inches, and target 4, which is a 2-inch diameter circle. So progressively smaller targets. On this target, there's 4 of them. We're going to shoot them at different times. And the way the drill is going to go is we're going to shoot 5 rounds into number 1. Then we're going to shoot 4 rounds into number 2. Then we're going to shoot 3 rounds into number 3. And then we're going to shoot 2 rounds into number 4. And then the 5th step of this drill is we're going to shoot 1 round into each of those 4 targets in the order they're numbered. So 1 round in number 1, 1 round here, 1 round here, 1 round here for that final and 5th step. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 total shots, but in that order. Now, this is going to be done from 5 yards. I chose that distance to be I felt like 3 yards is probably a little close and not challenging enough for some participants in the 21-day challenge, and 7 yards is probably a bit much for some folks. It's definitely even challenging for me to make sure I get consistent hits on that smallest target from 5 yards if I'm not taking my time or making sure I'm seeing a good, clean sight picture to get it. So we're going to do it from 5 yards, and there's a couple different ways you could do this. You could just measure each of those 5 steps of the drill. So number 1 being this first target, then here, then here, then here, and then all 4. That's 5 different times you're going to shoot these five different steps in the drill. You could just measure the times for each of those 5 and tally up the time and see where you end up. And then do it again at the end of the 21 days and do the same thing and just add up that total time and see how you improved. Anytime you have a hit that's outside of a target, so any misses is a 1-second penalty. So if I got this first one done and it took me 4 seconds and I had 1 miss, then I would just add 1 second to it, and that'd be 5 seconds. If I took 3.5 seconds to get the 3 shots on this one, but I had 2 misses, then it would be the 3.5 seconds plus 2 seconds penalty, so 5.5 seconds. So you see how that works? So that's one way of doing this drill, is just measuring the raw time, adding any penalties, and then making an aggregate time score, and then using that as your baseline to compare to at the end of the 21 days. The second option for shooting these drills is to do what's called a par time standard. So basically what we're going to do here today, the first time I run this, is we're going to do just that. I'm going to do a 7-second par time, which is what I consider to be kind of a good, like if you can do 7 seconds or less par time on all of these 5 steps of the drill, then you're in great shape. That means I have 7 seconds to get the 5 shots on number 1, 7 seconds again to get 4 shots in number 2, and so on and so forth. It's always a 7-second par time. Each time the timer goes off, it's giving me 7 seconds. There's some standards. So for instance, if you wanted to really push yourself and 7 seconds is easy for you to do, then a 5.5 second par time is what I'd consider to be an intermediate level. 4.5 second par time would be considered advanced, and 3.5 second par time would be considered like professional, pro level. All right. So that's kind of some ideas. Oh, and then if you can't get all 5 of these done within that 7-second par time, then that's what I would consider to be needs improvement. So that just kind of gives you an idea of where those will be. Now, what if you're at a range and it doesn't allow you to draw from a holster? Because these will be done typically from the holster. But if you have a range that doesn't allow that, then you can do all of these from a low ready. So you're gonna start with the gun pointed down towards the base of the target or at the ground, and you're gonna just take off a 1/2 second from your par time. So a 7-second par time today, I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate from 5 yards using the 7-second par time standard, but I'm gonna do it from a low ready. So I'll actually hold myself to a 6.5 second par time. And I've already got that programmed into my shot timer. If you want to just time the different drills and you have to do it from a low ready, then again, just subtract or add a 1/2 second to the total time when you're done. So if it took me 3.5 seconds to shoot this first target with 5 rounds, then I would just add a 1/2 second and that'll take me to 4 seconds, okay? And then you would do that each time you shoot the drill. So each of those 5 drills. What if you don't have a shot timer? Well, that gets a little bit tougher. I would definitely encourage you to look at getting a shot timer or borrowing a shot timer. Maybe the range you use, maybe somebody there has one you can borrow. That would be the most beneficial, because if we can't measure the accuracy, which is hits in these targets, combined with the time it takes you to do that, it's harder to get a good sense of where you're actually at and whether you're improving or not. But if you don't have a shot timer, then what you could do is just use a basic timer, like on a phone or on a watch, and maybe have a friend or a training buddy that can just, you know, hey, when it hits 7 seconds, just tap you on the shoulder to let you know you've hit that 7-second mark, okay? So that would be one way you could get around that if you don't have a shot timer, and you just have to do the best that you can. So let's go ahead and demonstrate this drill. We're gonna do this from a low ready, so I'm already gonna subtract a 1/2 second from the par time that I have available because I'm not doing it from the holster. And I'm gonna try to get this done each time we shoot one of the drills in 6.5 seconds or less. I think that's a reasonable time standard. So let's give it a go. All right, so that's the first one. 5 shots into that number 1 target. And that was well within the 6.5 second par time. I got it done in 4.01. So we'll do the second one, which is 4 shots into the number 2. 4 shots into the number 2 target. Again, 6.5 second par time because I'm doing it from a low ready. All right, four good hits there. Well within the par time. Took me 3.69 seconds. Now we're gonna do the 3 shots into the number of 3. And again, you have 6.5 seconds to do this. All right, 3.18, so well within the 6.5 seconds I have to work with. And do a little mag change here. And now we got 2 rounds into the 2-inch circle, which is that number 4. This is gonna be the most challenging target for most folks, so make sure you see enough sight picture. Plenty of time for me on that one, 2.58. And now we're going to do 1 round into each of those in order, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of a crisscross pattern. So 4 rounds total, 6.5 second par time from the low ready. All right, let's take a look. That last go was 3.68 seconds. So well within the 6.5 second par time that I had available, so that you can get a sense. That's why there's different par time standards. If you can get them all done within, you know, the 4 seconds or 4.5 seconds or whatever, just look at the chart. You can kind of determine if you're a pro or advanced or intermediate or whatever. Now, I wasn't trying to rush anything here, just trying to shoot these at a reasonable pace for me here today. So you see I got all good hits. So I'm very happy about that. So we don't have any additional penalties. So we basically passed the standard here. I believe I got everything done in under the 4 seconds. I had to go back and double check. I can't remember what that first 1 or 2 was, but so I'm pretty close to the advanced par time, if you will. So that's kind of one way, again, you can measure this and see about where you stack up. No problem getting it all done within the 6.5 second par time or 7 second par time if you were doing it from the draw. So we know we meet kind of that standard of being able to do them all in that time or less. So that's the par time way of measuring this. What we're going to do now is I'm going to reset, get a fresh target. We're going to do this, and we're just going to time each time I run this and see what my total time ends up being. So we'll get this reset, get some mags topped off, and we'll do it. And that one we'll do from the draw too. So we won't have to bother with adjusting for, drawing or doing from a low ready. So we'll just, whatever the time is, whatever it is. But a reminder that if you do the time standard instead of a par time, and you're doing it from a low ready, you'll need to add a 1/2 second to each of those times. All right, now we're just gonna time each of these 5 runs. So the first one again is 5 rounds into the first target there. And we'll just see what the time ends up being. All right, now I'm gonna go down each time and write these on here so we have record of them. So this first one's a 3.54. 4 rounds into target number 2. All righty, got that done in 3.12. All good hits. 3 rounds into target number 3. A little slower on the draw that time, but we got it done. That's a 2.92. All good hits. So 2 rounds into number 4. Oh, I think we have one just outside. I thought it was there, but I pulled the shot and it's just outside. So that's unfortunate. I was in 242, but we got a +1 second penalty for a miss. That's all right. We'll add that up when we're all done. And now, just making sure, yep, we got enough rounds. 1 round into each of those 4 targets in the order 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. That felt pretty good. 3.28. We'll just put this one up here, I guess. 3.28, and those were all good hits. All right, so if we were going to add these up to get us an aggregate score, what we will have then is 3.54 for this first one, 3.12 for that second one, 2.92 for that third one, 2.42 for this one, +1, and then 3.28 for that final and 5th run. So we got it all done in 16.28. And I feel pretty good about that. Obviously the penalty hurt me by a second, but I am doing this with a small concealed carry type gun. It'd probably be a little bit easier with a bigger gun. I'm not gonna try to use that too much as an excuse. I feel pretty good. That's what we consider to be an advanced run. So that's the drill. That's how it would work if we're going to just time each of the individual runs, add them all up, get an aggregate score, and then you can check that against that range and see kind of where you're at. If you need improvement, which would be over 21 seconds. 21 seconds or less would be considered good. 19 seconds or less would be considered intermediate. 17 seconds or less is advanced, and 15 seconds or less would be pro. So we didn't quite achieve pro status today, but I'm happy with an overall pretty good run. That's the 21-day challenge drill, or baseline drill. Hope you enjoy that and give it a run and see how you do from the beginning of the challenge compared to the end of the challenge. That's the whole point, is to see improvement over time.